I'm ready.
Go ahead and click it and I'll do the intro.
Clicking.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome back to Fast Charging with B&B. I'm Brian.
And I am Bear.
Yeah, we are back in the house. Episode 26. This week we're talking almost entirely about the competition. How are you, Bear?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Brian?
I'm good. I'm tired. I've had a rough couple days. Busy stuff in real life going on, but I'm getting through it just fine. Just fine.
Thank goodness you're making it, because I don't know what I would do without you.
What would you do?
I would just go solo. I would just be like, Brian overslept like he almost did last week, and I just move on.
Well, I wondered, like, if there was any flight delays 2 weeks ago. I was thinking, what are we going to do? Join him by telephone while I'm driving home? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, probably wouldn't have worked out too well doing that.
No.
We just need to make sure that we're available for everybody.
Yeah. Guys, let us know if our sound is good on both channels, because we are simulcasting, as we do, on Bear's Workshop and My Tesla Live. Yeah, you can get there now directly by typing youtube.com/MyTeslaLive.
Or YouTube/Bear's Workshop.
That's right. We're easier to find than ever before. Jeff says it sounds great. Jeff is biased. Jeff also thinks I look great. Jeff is mostly mistaken.
Jeff should be maybe drug tested.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea too. So
yeah, or get just maybe you just need some glasses.
That's
a little set of readers.
Well, that's definitely true. I don't think I've ever seen you wear glasses. That's weird.
Yeah, well, sometimes when I have to read things that are, I can't see my keyboard right now, and this microphone looks like a big black microphone.
Okay.
Just in my face.
Totally fair.
But it's just blurry, so.
Yeah. Yeah. 4Q said I would just stream from the backseat while the car drives itself. We are not quite there, but someday soon.
And JJ says,
yeah,
Jeff is clearly a liar.
Oh, JJ, I appreciate the friendly ribbing. So nothing going on this week, right?
Nothing at all. We're just going to talk about you driving in the backseat of a car.
It's fun. There's this graphic that was published last week that shows every electric vehicle in America 2022. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it. And this is just really an example of not to believe everything you're reading on the internet. If nothing else, all the numbers are kind of off.
Well, let's start at the top, just to get perspective. It says that the EPA ratings are not out on the GMC. Is that true?
That is not true.
No.
The Hummer has EPA ratings in the around low 50s, upper 40s. Not very good, but people buying that are not buying it for that.
Well, it also says the price is $110. Can you get it for that?
No, not at all.
No, in fact,
you can't even get them.
Yeah, you can't even get them. On Cars and Bids, let me look real quick. There's a brand new one for sale, $225, $420.
Well, I'll take two.
They don't have two. You will not take two.
The interesting thing about this article is it says every electric vehicle. No. And then it says, which electric vehicles do Americans have to choose from so far? Now, I know that the Audi e-tron's available. The EQS is available. And these horsepower numbers are not correct on some of these. The Model X is available, so is the S and the Taycan. The Air Pure, the Lucid, that's not available.
No.
That will not be available, and Lucid site says fourth quarter of this year, but reality is it's going to be more likely first quarter, if not later.
Well, they've got so much demand for the higher trim models. Why would they go down market prematurely? And
well, there is a reason for that, because I ordered an Air Pure today.
Wow.
So that's why they would go ahead and skip everyone else to get me my car. That makes sense, right?
Total sense. The thing is, these ratings they're showing for price and horsepower is only the base model, which paints a very incomplete picture. But let's go down and find some, like the Rivian R1T, MSRP 67.5?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
That's
there,
not correct.
there may be people who paid that, but that's not what it's available for. What about...
Right, and the R1S is also listed, and that's not available yet.
Not available. And let's go down and find the models 3 and Y. What are those priced at?
53,940 for Model Y long range, which is not correct. I think that's at 59 right now.
Yeah. And for that matter, the Model 3 at 44,990. Is that right?
No, that's not correct either.
Not correct. So, cool chart. I wish they spent any amount, whole percentage of the time they did making the graphics actually making this not suck. But I can dream.
You can dream. One other note, the Polestar 2 that's
Yeah.
listed here,
Yes.
they have stopped taking pre-orders for those. Or not even pre-orders. You cannot order them right now. They have some left in inventory, which are available to purchase nearly right away. Not right away, because they're still a month or two out. But they're cars that have been processed and you can order them just like a new old stock or something. They're still coming in. But if you want to order one right now, you cannot order a Polestar. And you cannot order a Mustang Mach-E, but that just happened last week. Ioniq 5 and EV6 you have to steal from a dealership, or you have to be robbed from a dealership, I should say. But because those are just getting incredible markups.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say about this list.
This would have been more useful if they had put a range of horsepower to represent minimum and maximum and a range of prices. But, you know, somebody was paid handsomely to make this.
Well, they decided to suck.
Yeah,
That's what happened.
For bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what else is going on? Anything going on today specifically?
Yes, the Ford F-150 production kicks off today. They did a whole little festival. There were already memes out there about showing people at the Ford grand opening and the Tesla grand opening, comparing them to each other. It was very sad looking. But yeah, today is the first day of official production of the Ford Lightning. So I think that's pretty good for them. I have not ordered one. Have you?
I have not. But I will tell you, the size of the party to me isn't relevant. If they'd wanted to throw a huge party, they could have. They certainly would have had plenty of people there. It's just a matter of priorities.
No, it wasn't the size of it. It was the people standing in the Ford audience were like this. And
Well,
then
I
the people
assume
in the
those
Tesla
are...
audience are like, eh.
Yeah, the Tesla fans definitely were losing their ever-loving minds, as you and I likely would have as well. Were we
people
not?
trying to break into the Gigafactory, climbing the walls, getting like tackled by security, things like that.
JJ said that Sandy Monroe is there. That doesn't surprise me. It's not a big commute from where he is, and I think you'd be wise to have him there. Yeah. But my question with the Ford is, can they actually make enough units? You know, they originally announced 40,000 is all they're going to make.
Yeah, well, they plan to increase production capacity to 150,000 units in the next year or so, which is up from that 40,000. So they really need to, because there's going to be a lot of people ordering these trucks, and they need to get them out. And it's the battery plants that they need. And I know that there are several Ford battery plants around the country being built right now.
Yeah, so they had revised it from 40,000 to 80,000, but the interest in this vehicle is through the roof. Early reviews have been very good. If you have problems with this vehicle, they're not surprises. It does what it says on the tin, apparently, and that's enough to get the orders going.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a decent vehicle, but I've been looking more at the Silverado, and the Silverado is it's looking really nice to me. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, yeah, maybe if we have time.
Oh yeah, if we care to.
Yeah.
But we'll just make sure we have any Nikola talk last, right, JJ?
Nikola. Are they even in the news this week? So yeah, people are
Oh,
getting
yeah.
notifications that your vehicle's production is scheduled. You got one of those, didn't you?
A Lightning?
A notification that your Lightning is on the way.
I don't have a Lightning on the way.
What? You order everything.
I did not order a Lightning. That is not on my list. And at this point, if I order one, I'm still like 6 years out. So I never
You
put
would be
one on
pretty
my
far
list.
down the line.
Yeah, I would be.
Yeah,
So right where I'm at with my Cybertruck.
yeah. So, did you know that Ford is set to reveal an electric van next month?
Yeah, it looks like a minivan from the silhouette, and I've nicknamed this the Ford Evan
Yeah, the
after
Evan.
one of my kids has a kid named Evan, and when I wrote out my notes, I wrote Ford Evan. I'm like, okay, sounds good to me.
Yeah, and just like your son, it's spelled little e, big V, right?
Yes, yes,
Evan. It's interesting. It looks like an ID Buzz in this lead photo, but I'm sure it
a
won't
little
be.
bit. I think once they turn the lights on, we're gonna go, yeah, and
Yeah,
cool headlights, everything else is gonna look like
disappoint.
an
You know, they
like the
actually
Buzz
had
on the
said
inside.
that they would have an electric Sprinter van on the market in 2022. But you know how it is. I'll believe it when I see it. Have you seen the
That
Sprinter?
the Sprinter?
The E-Transit?
The Sprinter was Dodge, wasn't it?
Well, you know, the form factor.
Yeah, yeah, okay. A Sprinter class.
Sorry, the
We'll call it.
E-Transit. What's that
Yeah.
child's name?
Who?
Well, like Evan, but E-Transit.
Oh, I looked at this and I thought it was tranny. So, but anyway,
So,
yeah, and
yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, do you think they'll actually have these on the market and in customer hands this year?
Yeah, they already have some out. They
What?
don't get a whole. Yeah, they do.
Here's Walmart. They've got some that they're apparently already using for deliveries.
Yes.
Now, what's your
Not
contention against this vehicle? You mentioned it last week or the week before.
just the horrible amount of range.
Yeah.
It's good for what it is, but you can't scale it up. Or it should have been scaled up already. But it's got 126 miles of range, and from a person who's had employees in the past, I know what's going to happen to those vans. They're going to get it parked at Walmart. Some numbnuts is going to forget to plug it in, and the next day they're going to have no vans going because they forgot to plug it in. And if you had a little bit more, you might have a little bit of leeway for 2 days. If you get Joe who forgets to plug in the van, it's going to happen.
Yes. For one or two for sure, hopefully not all. And the 126 miles, I've said this before, the customer knows going in what the range is, and for like a local Walmart grocery runner, they're not going to do 126 miles, but over 2 days they probably would.
Yes,
Yeah. And in the comments,
but
I love how people are not recognizing just yet that I'm always a joker. I always lead these up. I tee them up nicely.
you are the Joker, aren't you?
I am. So what was it you wanted to talk about earlier? Some kind of truck or something? Oh no, never mind. We've got something else first
Yeah, we
from
do. We
the
got
leader.
that's something. Yes, from Mary. The hell happened to my link?
Mine got a little goofy on there too.
Yeah.
Was
Okay.
yours
I don't know
stuttering?
what happened. My
Anyway,
link just disappeared, and now I'm somehow on notifications. Let's go back. Oh, I know what happened. Okay. I was smoking a little bit of too much crack. I was hitting the pipe too hard earlier, and
as
I
one
was in the
does.
wrong window. Yeah, as one does when we're waiting for that magical 4 o'clock time to come through. So we've got the electrified Corvette.
Yeah.
is going to be available. But don't get too excited because it's a hybrid.
Yeah. A
So,
lot of supercars are a hybrid. Unfortunately, I think, but baby steps, I guess. The truth is, we can't, there are not enough batteries to electrify everything today. So let's take some steps in the right direction, see how it
yeah.
goes.
Yeah, well, there's just so much work that's involved in making a model that's a hybrid, and then to only have it for a limited amount of time doesn't make that much sense to me.
I
Um,
agree.
the one of the things that was noteworthy on this video is that the front wheels are spinning faster than the rear wheels, clearly. So it looks like the maybe the electric motor is in the front wheels, so it's all-wheel drive, and which is cool right there. And but the other part is that the electric part will be powering the front wheels. So kind of interesting.
Yeah, we'll see how that shapes up. I'll be curious to see it. My problem with hybrids generally is now you have two sorts of powertrains with which to have issues.
Oh well, yeah. That's why I don't think I don't know about it investing all of that because now you also not only do you have two powertrains you can have issues with, but you have two powertrains that you have to develop and make them work together.
Right. Yeah. 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 But
Yeah.
this is just
So yeah,
evidence of the leader. By the way, I ran a poll today, Bear, asking in 2030, and you guys can still vote on this. It's still up on youtube.com/myteslalive. Who will be the leaders in EVs in 2030? American companies, second place, 32%. Chinese companies, 28%. European companies, 0. Big old goose egg for Herbert Diess and the gang. And 40%, the leader, Mary Barra, just by herself.
just by her,
By
it
herself,
says that
just her, not the
by
company.
herself.
Because, she ain't gold, but she lead.
And she's going to lead us into actually a nice looking Silverado, though. I will say that.
Well, let's make that segue happen. Pretty. Just pretty.
Yeah, I do have one of these on order. I'm putting on my AC for those of you who are hearing this strange noise in the background. That's probably your dog, but my air conditioning will be blowing towards the microphone on purpose.
Yeah.
I like the look of this. I love the blue color. Not sure if it'll actually look like this after it's no longer computer rendered, but you can see the range is higher than the F-150. The 0 to 60 is about the same, and it's got the features in it where you can store the back seats down, and then go ahead and move that into a configuration where you can have actually 10 feet of cargo space,
Interesting.
which is nice because the tailgate goes down and then it flips up on the back end, so you have like a little stopper.
Wow.
So, trying to find out where that was.
It's on this page.
Yeah, it's kind of hinky because it was stopping, and you keep scrolling and it just won't do it. So yeah, you can do like a 10-foot configuration, and a 9-foot configuration by having the bed up, and then the standard bed, which is shorter than me, but you would be able to sprawl out there and play games.
It does have a four-wheel steer, so
Four-wheel steer, which I do not believe the Lightning is going to have, but the Hummer will,
right.
and the Cybertruck will.
And it does have panoramic glass.
Which is really nice until lawn furniture lands on it.
We did cover that in a previous episode.
Yeah, I've got my check right here. It came in yesterday. This is my reimbursement for the lawn furniture incident. So we're looking at 10,000 pounds of towing on the that the RST model, and up to 20,000 on the work truck, which, of course, we got to see how much range it loses on towing 20,000 pounds. But that'll be pretty exciting to see those first tests come in. And I should be one of the people getting the first Silverados since I ordered it right away the first day. So
I
stay
think
tuned for that video. It's coming out in 24 months.
so because I think we're getting through this in record time. Why don't we take a minute and address some comments? On my side, Jeff Songster says, not as long as a Bollinger, which is true, but also so is the weight not as long as a Bollinger. Little less plastic than an Avalanche. It is an Avalanche.
Yeah.
How much battery weight? Ooh, for 400 miles, it's going to be a big boy. And another comment I saw that was interesting was that GM would have enough batteries to electrify their fleet if they stopped making Hummers. Because those are massive batteries.
Yes. But it's okay. It's the Ultium battery.
So you've got
They
some
keep
questions?
saying that. Is nobody making a removable, swappable battery auto, or at least easily replaceable? Yes, 4Q, they are. That company is called Neo, which just celebrated its I don't know, I thought it was like 500,000 battery swap or something. Maybe that's a little high. But I saw something this week about battery swaps.
So the reason
Neo,
I've heard that those are not popular among manufacturers is because then every battery you have laying around for use in a swap is one that you can't put in a vehicle to sell. And unless the manufacturer is going to own the battery and just warranty it for you, do you really want someone's rental janky battery that was potentially ridden to 100 and down to 0 and abused when you take good care of your battery? So
Yeah,
battery swaps are not super popular.
I'm of the same opinion of that. I wouldn't want someone's used battery. I don't like getting someone's old propane tank. So the numbers, I was getting confused. Neo celebrated their 900th battery swap station.
Wow.
So they plan on having 1,300 by the end of the year. So they definitely have these stations where you can go swap out a battery and it's fully charged. The Chinese people have a different culture than us, and I think that they're more open to something like that than we are here. And if it works for them, then it works. But if they want to come to this country, I don't see how it's going to work here. It may work in other countries besides China. I don't know, but I just don't see it working here.
VCL asked you on your channel, why didn't you order the Ford Lightning?
Well, at the time, I didn't have a need for 400 cars, and so I just didn't. And then by the time it dawned on me, hey, this wouldn't be so bad. I'm really years out, and I have thought about putting in an order, but you cannot put an order in for a Ford Lightning, a Ford Mach-E, a Ford Maverick, which I'm going to order one of those. They come in a hybrid version of a small pickup truck that gets over 40 miles to the gallon. So, and you can deck them out with almost all the options, and you're topping out at like $35,000. So,
and Sandy Monroe had great things to say about the Maverick when he saw it. Mm-hmm. But he seems to really like Ford. He spent a lot of years there. So I don't know if that's part of it.
Yeah, maybe he still has stock and doesn't want to lose his retirement.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think that's it. I just think that he's got a good opinion of him, and that's all that there is to that.
Yeah, and he knows what he's looking at better than we do. In terms of the Silverado, are you still having to buy it through a dealership?
Yes, I am, and here's the horrible part about that. Let me see if I can find that on my screen, and I'll tell you where to go. I'm not going to spend too much time looking for it. The small print on this, it says that, let's see, I'm hitting the reserve now button, and okay, now I hit it again. There was a horrible message at the bottom of it. Let's see if I can find
Digital
that.
Blade Canada says Sandy wants his pension.
Yeah. See, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's just agreeing with me. Somewhere on this disclaimer, when you hit the reserve, it says that price is subject the final price is subject to the dealer, which is just horrible. So they're saying that the dealer can go ahead and put on the phantom boots and EV etching in your rust proofing in Arizona and your desert protection package in Oregon, because that's probably what they'll do. Here's the wording. I finally found it. Participating dealer determines final price.
Brutal. Well, it's not like dealerships are known for charging extra and bait and switch on the pricing, are they?
They would never, ever do that. I have so much faith in dealers just going, here's your car you ordered. Please sign here. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Kia dealer smacked with big fine for deceptive pricing.
I just don't believe it. This is an anomaly. There is no way that something like this could actually happen. So how much was their fine?
Beyond the refunds, which could easily surpass $1 million, they have to reimburse the Maryland Consumer Protection Division up to $200,000 for its investigation. The state will waive half the charge if Coons can stay out of trouble for a year.
I want to go up there and order a car from them and just get them in trouble, just so that they lose their half that they're going to save. Where is this in? What state?
Maryland.
Oh, I don't want to go that far.
Too far.
Yeah. This is one of the cars that I was unable to buy because of dealer markups.
Right. Jeff Songster said, it's just one bad apple. Yeah.
Did he really?
Oh, he's joking.
Oh, okay. I was going to say block his ass right now. Off the channel.
Yeah. Very frustrating. So I've got an interview coming up with Lars from Best in Tesla that I did, that I recorded a couple days ago. It's already up on my Patreon, but one of the things we talk about in the interview is why go so far north? And his answer is because to prove that EVs can work in very cold weather. Now, in Arizona, I'm sure you've had some very cold weather to contend with, right?
Oh, yeah. We actually, what happened the other day? My pipes broke and my Powerade froze. And it was horrible. I had to get a sweater on to go outside. And you know how long it took me to find a sweater?
No.
I never found it. I had to order one.
So the post office will be fully electric in Svalbard, deploying the world's northernmost electric truck. If you can get it on Svalbard, you can probably get it anywhere. So yeah, they're proving that EVs are not as sensitive to cold weather as critics like to say. It'll even work in temperatures below 20 below zero.
That's colder than my freezer.
Yeah, it is. I think the limit I've ever been to is negative 15, and it was real unpleasant.
Yeah, I've been in similar, about negative 10, and in North Dakota, and I think that was during a heat wave because it gets cold there, really cold.
One exciting thing I did, since we're doing good on time, I can tell this fun story. Years and years ago, 12 years ago, 11 years ago, I was invited out to do coverage for a new winter festival at West Yellowstone in Montana, which is part of the Yellowstone Park into Wyoming. And one of the events that they thought up but didn't think through was a s'mores night. So sledding and s'mores. And it wasn't that cold. It was probably only 8 or 10 below that night. Try making s'mores when the chocolate is way below freezer temperature, and so are the marshmallows. You can burn the ever-loving hell out of these things, and they are still rock solid on the inside. The event itself was wonderful. The s'mores were hysterically bad. You would shatter your teeth if you tried to eat them.
Oh, that sounds pleasant. I'd love to get in on that.
You should.
Shattered teeth.
So, any Lucid news? I don't think there is. I don't feel like anyone is. Oh, Ben just even asked, just this second. No Lucid talk? Oh, Ben.
Of course he did.
Oh, Ben, we got you covered. Tested.
Yes, the Lucid Air Dream sets a new EV record, but for Edmunds testing, and they got over 500. They got 505 miles in Edmunds real world EV range test, which is actually pretty awesome, because the numbers don't matter unless they're real world, and
Right.
we see it too often where numbers are put out there and they're just not accurate. But to get 505 miles in a real world test, that's pretty good. Lucid should be proud of themselves on this.
And I don't know how scientific Edmunds testing is. I assume not terribly. It's just real world testing, which is what, again, like you said, it's what matters.
Yes.
So that's
Absolutely.
fantastic news as far as I'm concerned. On my channel, what I said, my thumbnail and my description is, has Tesla's competition finally arrived? And kind of the overriding theme of all these stories so far is, yeah, they're getting serious. The new guys, the old guys, they're all getting serious.
Yes. Now they just need to produce the cars.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about Lucid, I'm talking about Ford.
Everybody.
I'm talking about GM. Kia, they're selling every car that they put out there, but they need to get more out there.
Yeah.
And they would sell them.
And they need to improve their margins, but everybody does. It's a tough time. Easy Kappa said on your channel, Saudi Arabia committed to buying 100,000 vehicles from Lucid for government vehicles. I feel like we checked all the news maybe an hour and a half ago, and I didn't see that one an hour and a half ago.
Yes, it was very recent news. So they are tied into 50,000 with an option to get another 50,000 after that, which is fantastic news for Lucid because now they've got another 100,000 on orders on the books. Granted, these are over the next 10 years, and they're going to start off slow. I think with 3 or 4,000. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 or 2,000 starting next year, and then they'll be kicking those up to 47,000 starting in 2025. So they've got some orders on the books, but I don't think that's going to be Lucid's problem right now. I think their problem is getting these cars out.
Is scaling without going broke.
Yes.
But it
And-
looks like, to me, what I'm reading here is that the Saudis are redoubling their commitment to this company and this project.
Yeah, that is, the Saudis own a large portion of Lucid. I think it's 60%. So the fact that they're recommitting to it, that's great news for everyone. And maybe, just maybe they'll prepay for some of these if Lucid runs into some money. So that could help them out financially.
What do you imagine the markup will be on this car once fully ramped, assuming they survive? Do you think they'll get 10 grand a car?
The margin?
Yeah.
I think they got to get a lot more than that on a car this expensive.
Somebody should do some math and tell us how much profit we're looking at on 100,000 cars.
Yeah, when you're looking at 100, I of course they're not going to be getting the Dream Edition, but on a $70,000 car, they should be at least $10,000. Tesla's doing 30% margin, so you'd like to think that Lucid, once they are in their groove, which we're still years away from, should be doing 15 to 20% at least. That's what I'd like to see. Where it's going to end up, time will tell.
Jeff just pointed out that the Saudis were also bought out of Twitter when Elon seals the deal. I'm going to hopefully be doing a video clarifying some of the misconceptions about the Twitter deal. Elon is not buying the whole company. He is buying the majority of it, so he can be the majority shareholder. There will still be 49%, up to 49% other investors in the company. The Saudis could still have a hand in that. And if not them, then banks or other people or institutions or private individuals. So it's entirely possible that they remain in that deal, though I don't know if they want to, considering what we've recently learned about the variety of bad blood going back to funding secured.
True, true, true. Well, we'll just have to see how that plays out, but it's playing. So,
Yeah.
Brian says Ford is splitting its auto business into two separate units: Ford Blue for ICE and Ford Model E for electric vehicles. Do you think this is to allow bypass dealers with direct sales? I 100% think that that's what that is. And if it's not, I'm going to cry quietly to myself because that's what I'm hoping for. I would love to see that the DTC take over and dealerships go the way of the T-Rex, because we don't need T-Rexes and we don't need dealerships. We need service centers that can fix our broken cars, that can give us test drives, deliver us new cars, but we do not need dealerships. And buying my Tesla and not having to deal with a salesman was so refreshing, even though I didn't get to spend 3 hours haggling over $10 a month in payment.
And also, Brian, Bear brought this up a few weeks back. That's what GM did with the Saturn line, is they wanted to introduce a no-haggle sales model. So they launched a whole new brand within the company that allowed for them to create a whole new dealership model that had a different contract, different philosophy.
Yeah, but the cars sucked, so,
They were cheap garbage. I loved them. I wanted one when I was a teenager.
Why?
Because I fell for the marketing. And my parents had always had the cheapest of the cheapest cars, so to me, I thought they were pretty magical.
I had one once. I was trying to save some money, and I got rid of my car that I was making payments on, and I bought like a cheap one for like $3,000 or $4,000, and I drove it around for several months, and I was like, all right, I sucked it up for 3 months. I'm good, and I got rid of it. It wasn't anything to brag about. It was literally like, it was just getting a car to go from point A to point B. No style, no luxury, nothing. It didn't even have a bathroom in it.
Every car has a bathroom in it if you're brave enough, Bear.
Yeah. No, not this one.
Yeah. So I think that's it for Arizona stuff, I think, right?
Yeah. Maybe not.
TC
There's
Energy
one.
and Nikola eye Southern Alberta site for possible hydrogen production hub.
Yeah, so it looks like they're wanting to produce some hydrogen here. I think it was, what was the numbers? I think I had it on a different webpage, but they had it might have been up to 80 kilograms of hydrogen a day, or
60 tons per day.
How much?
60 tons of hydrogen per day.
Okay.
From
60
natural
tons.
gas.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be expandable to, I think it was 80.
150.
Before we had got this, and we used your article. Mine had all the good numbers in it. But, it also said it was like a 120-acre site, something like that. But I don't know. I don't see it in this one. Okay. Yeah, so TC Energy is the company that was building the Keystone Pipeline and is no longer doing that. So their goal is to get into other types of energy, and they will be producing hydrogen and then reclaiming the carbon that comes out of this and sequestering it and doing other things with it.
Interesting.
So, yes.
And if they're in negotiation, I don't see anything about the price, but it kind of doesn't matter. It lists their capital expenditures, but that doesn't necessarily indicate what their retail or wholesale prices will be. But it'll be interesting. Pretty far, pretty far away, but...
Yeah, well, maybe they know how to build pipelines, so...
That's true. Ooh, a hydrogen pipeline. Is that reasonable?
What? Why isn't it? Everything else explodes.
That's true.
I mean, you got to look at it realistically. Everything that you put in these pipelines catches fire and goes boom. So...
Olivia asked, why
but
does
maybe
Brian
with the hydrogen
not
will float away.
That's true. Olivia asked, why does Brian not like hydrogen? It's easy to make. Yes, it's easy to make from fossil fuels, which is not necessarily ideal. And it is expensive to make in a clean form. And my biggest problem is that the infrastructure does not exist, and creating the infrastructure will be very costly. I believe, and JJ says, Brian believes it is impossible. No, it's possible. It's just not possible in a cost-effective manner, is the conclusion I have reached. I consider doing a video all about it, but in my research I found that lots and lots of videos have already been made about the limits of physics that make hydrogen a difficult sell.
Yeah, well, we'll see. When Brian is wrong, we can all thumb our noses at him.
I've never been wrong about anything ever before. I said before wrong. Dang it.
Wow. That was like a dad joke, wasn't it?
Yeah. You know how you can spot a dad joke? When it's apparent. Jeff said sometimes possible is still stupid. Any other Canada news? Or are we done north of the border?
We are not done north of the border, but we are not done with Nikola.
Oh, yeah. What's going on?
Yeah, one more thing. JJ is fully aware of this, and so are a couple others on my channel. Tomorrow, Nikola is hosting a media event starting bright and early in the morning, and the governor is going to be there of Arizona, and amongst other people, and I will be attending this event tomorrow, and we will not have a Lucid video tomorrow because of it, but we will be having a special Nikola video without the flyover, and that is going to be happening late tomorrow as far as the video goes, but we're going to have some nice footage. If it's possible to live stream from there, I will, but the internet out there, the cell coverage, not so good. So we'll see what I can post up, and that is tomorrow. And I want to thank Mopar Den for the super chat. It says, it seems the EV market is a perfect area for mergers and acquisitions. Will we see any big M&As, do you guys think? Good question. What do you think, Brian?
So in terms of big ones, I think not. There have been flirtations with smaller ones, with like Ford and GM considering big aggressive partnerships with smaller ones. I think the mergers and acquisitions we're going to continue to see is, in terms of vertical integration, people trying to buy small battery technology, like other companies have, to cut out so many middlemen and get that going, you know? I would love to see a big merger where maybe somebody huge tries to buy into, split Panasonic's battery division off and buy it. But I don't think that would be affordable for anyone at any level.
Okay, I'm changing the subject. Got a super chat from JJ. He says, can you take Brian as your +1? He doesn't believe in things unless he sees them. How he deals with air and gravity, I'll never know.
Oh, I'm supposed to answer? Yeah, I'm too far away. I wouldn't be able to get there in time.
Yeah, actually, my son's my +1 because he does so much of the editing and flying that he definitely deserves to be there. And we're going to get some good footage from that. And Olivia says they have 5G in Arizona. It's like, yeah, but the site is kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So we'll see how good the service is.
And once you get 100 people there, the cell site's full. Even if they had Wi-Fi you could use, it would also be full.
That's true.
Yeah.
Fact check true.
Jeff said perhaps mining, and yes, that would be one. Who is this? Said GM should buy Nikola. GM does have a very serious, heavy transport division that could benefit from that. Is Ford going with SK batteries exclusively? I believe they are, at least they plan to. All the plant expansions I've seen have been SK innovations. Yeah. And Lisa, of course, didn't. I can't tell or not, but she did have to respond to my dad joke. It upset her constitution deep down.
I've still got a bad taste in my mouth from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you wanted to go north of the border again, didn't you?
Yeah, I was curious. Is there any other news up there?
Yeah, it turns out that the politicians in Canada are just as confused as they are down here, because they raised the the limits for what you can get rebates for, or tax incentives, or whatever they do. Incentives for zero emission vehicles were raised. They're still not high enough though, because it looks great when you look at it because it says $55,000, but when you do the math on that and the conversion from Canada and over to US, you realize that that's like $40,000.
Yeah.
So you have to find a $40,000 EV in order to get your incentives.
Yeah. It's so the idea was there were virtually none or no EVs that were qualifying for this EV rebate because the price had been set too low. So they raised it. They just didn't raise it enough. If we go back over to this goofy chart we had, there it is. We see that.
Oh, I killed my goofy chart.
That's all right. There's because we've got to convert this to Canadian. Realistically, the cheapest car the most expensive car you could probably get is maybe the Ioniq 5 or EV6, but there's just not a whole lot.
I don't even think those are going to qualify. I don't think that the EV6 price is right there. I think it really starts at like 45 in the Ioniq 5. I also was looking at getting one of those. That one, I do not believe that starts under 40.
Well, and some of these cars don't exist in the market at all, let alone in ways that matter. The Mazda MX-3 is not sold out, or MX-30 is not sold outside of California. The Bolt, we're still waiting for the production to turn back on. The Mini Cooper has a range of 114 miles. That's great, but not in Canada. Nothing is within 114 miles in Canada except the border. And the Leaf.
Does that Mini come in a 4-wheel drive?
I doubt it. I'd be very doubtful.
I think a lot of the people north of the border, up towards the border, are doing 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. It's just kind of a necessity. So,
yeah. Digital Blade Canada is saying that their national policy on EVs sucks.
Yeah. And now it just sucks a little less, but it still sucks.
And Jeff Songster is pointing out that keeping it just below the price of Tesla again. But what I was saying to Bear earlier before the show started is prices will come back down. They will normalize. It may be a year or two. It may be 2 or 3. But prices will normalize a bit.
And I'm going to go with that's a maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not.
So we should cover some Tesla before we go, right?
Yeah, I just got to let you know that Brian Borkowski says that dad joke was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Brian.
Sorry. Yeah, well.
He's biased. Yeah. Us Brian's got to stick together. So Tesla is giving high school grads opportunity to work full-time at Giga Texas at the factory.
That's pretty cool. It looks like they're giving them a 7-week class or something to train them.
Yeah, crash course.
Mm-hmm. And putting them right to work.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to move to Austin and take my kids there and drop them off.
Yeah. Yeah, now I've seen complaints about this on social media saying, oh, great, that's just what 18-year-olds need, is to not go to college and go straight to work in a dead-end job in a factory, and they're probably not even going to get paid very well. No, they'll get paid well. They'll get paid
They'll get paid well. And you know what? I think that's an excellent job. And not everyone should go to college. You've got people that may not be intellectually right for it, and they may be fantastic with their hands and how to build things and make things. Yeah. And it's not a knock on anybody. I think there's plenty of jobs that can pay a lot of money also where you don't have to go to college and incur $200,000 worth of debt after 8 years to become a doctor of something. So,
and there are very few companies where manufacturing has the upside potential for career advancement like a job at Tesla. Mm-hmm. Because anyone with a good idea is welcome to send it up the chain. And if your boss thinks it's won't listen to you and it's a good idea, you're allowed to go above your boss. You will not get in trouble. And those kinds of savings and innovations are rewarded. And they need the people. And some people don't want to go to college. They want work now. And 7 weeks is a lot less painful than 4 to 7 years.
Yeah, with debt.
With massive debt.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's exciting. And there's a worker shortage. And somebody's made a comment here about, was it on your channel? I don't remember. But imagine being a Teslanaire teenager. Yeah, every Tesla employee, even production workers, get get stock grants, which is something they don't get at General Motors or Ford.
Yeah, and Mopar Den thinks that we're stuck in this inflationary structure for some time. Let's see what happens when the midterm elections and secular events come up. Feel that the price. I agree with that. I think that they are going to remain high. I don't think we're going to see any price decreases on my Model S that I've ordered, because if we do, I still wouldn't get it because they raised it $5,000 since I ordered it. So, but Tesla does pass on. If you order a Tesla at today's price and then tomorrow they lower it, the price, they will give you that money back, which I think is awesome. And JJ, I want to thank you for the super chat, bro. I don't ever want to hear that there's no Nikola news if this made up for Tesla.
Oh, that this is not newsworthy is what he's saying. Well, JJ, you'll be delighted to know that I, every week, scour the news to find Nikola stuff just for you.
And then we end up finding out is like Tesla's putting LFP batteries into something.
Have we found that out? Because Tesla
did.
is already using cobalt-free LFP batteries in half of its new cars produced. But why is that important?
Because cobalt is hard to get now. It's getting pricey.
Cobalt and nickel are hard to get, and they're expensive. And especially in the case of cobalt, it's difficult to source conflict-free material. And when you do find it, and you buy it from someone, all that does is make the conflict supply available to your competitors. So
I heard they use cobalt in Russian tanks, and there's a supply over in the Ukraine that you could pick up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we've got a few more minutes left.
We do.
We do. Interestingly, did you know that Tesla has not yet been upgraded to investment grade rating? Do you know that?
Something is so fishy about that.
Pretty weird. Pretty weird because someone put this chart together. Who is it? It is Tesla Boomer Mama put together this chart showing the different factors that would contribute to your credit rating. And if you look at the top 30 companies, every one of them by market cap has an investment grade rating apart from Tesla. And many of them have much worse cash to debt, debt to equity, debt to EBITDA, all of it, and yet have not been upgraded. Tesla has not been upgraded. It's very strange.
It's very strange, and it really makes you scratch your head and start going, WTF is going on here? Because this does not look right. What other factors could there possibly be?
So their official answer is we need to see a longer track record of these profitable quarters, of these high margins, of these beneficial numbers. But everyone I've talked to, I interviewed Matt Smith from Good Soil Management Partners recently, and he was just sure that this upgrade was coming because all of these numbers are exceptional in the case. They have less than 0.1 billion of recourse debt remaining, which it's like $70 million of it compared to GM, which has like MD Hofsty can tell me in the chat here, 15 billion or something. It is.
Yeah, they sure do. Yeah. How many car dealerships? They own 85 car dealerships in 10 states.
That's not that many. That's not
It's
that
not.
many.
They bought out a company that was called the Van Tile Group uh, a couple of years ago. I'm not even sure how many years ago, but I used to work at a Van Tile car dealership, and they were the scummiest of the scums. It was owned by a guy named Larry Van Tile,
Okay.
and uh, I remember meeting him, and he's a salesman, but he owned this, and he sold his car dealerships for over $1 billion to Berkshire Hathaway. Yeah, I don't know how many he sold, but um, he sold everything and just said, "Okay, I'm done," or whatever he did. I don't know what the backstory is, but yeah, this little guy named Larry Van Tile started car dealerships in Arizona, sold them all off to Warren Buffett. So
So some follow-ups here. MD Hofstede did get me the answer. Ford has 24 billion in recourse debt. GM is around 16 billion compared to Tesla with less than zero point 0.1 billion. And Jeff asked, "So, who needs a loan?" This would be about getting a loan if you needed a loan, but this is also about institutional investors, mutual funds, big firms with big dollars will not necessarily buy your stock for their fund unless it is investment grade. And the higher the grade, the more likely they are to buy it. This means once this upgrade happens, it's very possible, likely even, that Tesla stock would go up.
another question on that is this rating. Manufacturers have their own banks where they're borrowing money from a bank and then they're relending that money out to the consumer, and they'll charge the consumer 3% where they might be paying 2%. Is this the same rating that they would use to borrow that money to lend out to other people?
I do not know the answer to that. From my conversation with Matt Hofstede yesterday, I believe GM spun out their finance division in 2008. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Because if they're a bank, no, they borrow from the Fed at the Fed funds rate, which, for a long time was like 2-ish%. And then they base your rate on something much, much higher like prime, which is probably right now in the 7% range, and then give you a great deal from there. But I don't know. I don't have the answer to that.
Well, you should have been more prepared. You should have known I was going to ask you that
For
question.
the finances end, which is not my area of expertise.
All right, all right.
So we've got a couple minutes left. What was the last thing we wanted to do? Oh, yeah. Not super exciting. Tesla's finished the building of the MegaPack factory and is in the process of ramping up production. This is where they're making the, what do you call it? Oh, that's fun. The large grid scale batteries for, the MegaPacks for commercial sites and utilities.
I had to look at this picture and look at it as, compare these two pictures. What are different before I could find the factory? If you're looking on my screen, it's right here. I'm just highlighting it with my mouse.
Yeah, I did the same.
Yeah, because I was looking for like the belt to not be on somebody, or the hat, something like that. But so yeah, they've got this going. Their energy revenue is down this year or down this quarter, which was very sad. I would like to see Tesla Energy start to actually pick up. When do you think that's going to happen?
I was reading the chat. Would you ask me again?
When do you think Tesla Energy is going to pick up, because their quarterly sales were down?
As soon as they have enough batteries. So I don't know the answer. Any last minute questions you guys want to get in? Because we are right up to the hour here.
Oh, we sure are. Look at that.
Yeah,
so
we timed it good. We should bump up and mention how grateful we are for our respective patrons who get, early access, bonus content, all that good stuff. And these blue names here are my Bears Workshop supporters at the $4.20 a month level, including JJ. That's right.
Yeah, thank you, JJ.
He gives me a hard time with love.
Yeah, I wanted to thank all my patrons. Also, remember that out of my patrons and Brian's patrons, my patrons are obviously better. And if you guys are one of Brian's patrons and you want to be on the better Patreon team, please join. There is a link down in the description below because my patrons will kick his patrons' butts.
Yeah, that's what we should have done at the meet and greet was have a rumble. It was
Yeah.
fun. The meet and greet was so great. I'm so sorry you weren't there, Jeff. We had a great time. Yeah, and Jeff is not a troll. He is right there in this Cool in the Gang level. It was great, and people recognized Bear. It was so awesome. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I guess people who like factories like my work too."
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I just want to recap. Tomorrow, going to have some sort of video coming out on the Nikola site. So that's going to be pretty exciting. Might get to meet the governor and might get to meet Mark and a couple other people at Nikola, Jason, I believe. So pretty exciting. I'm going to get a lot of beauty sleep tonight. I may actually have to take a shower for the first time since I think I've seen you, Brian. So
I hope that's not true. I did also want to mention that I may have a live episode coming up that's not scheduled. That would happen, I don't know, tonight or tomorrow, in cooperation with MD Hofsty, where we go over the Tesla's 10Q and then a condensed version on the main channel as well.
that sounds extremely exciting.
Yeah.
I will bring my popcorn.
Yeah. So, guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining the live stream. Hello, Wendelin, at the last minute. You said hello, so we knew you were here. But to everybody, Jeff and Casey and all you crazy folks. And thanks to the folks on Bear's channel, too.
Yes, we appreciate your being here. So thanks for joining us, and we will definitely be seeing you next Tuesday for the same show, but better. Right?
I think
right.
so.
All right, well, I'm going to sign off. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.